I don't have time for this bullshit.
Ha! Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. All this guy ever does is BS. Anyway, it's time for another edition of BSing with Big Nate.
State of Mind featuring No Resolve. That's the Thunder Rolls. You may recognize that track if you happen to listen to country in the early 90s. I think it still plays on country radio. I'm no expert. I am joined today by Jay. Do we go by Gearhart or the Rockstar Jay? I'm going to go with the Rockstar J because that's
whatever is easiest for you.
All right, we'll go with the Rockstar J. It sounds so official, and I feel like you've earned it.
Right.
First and foremost, I want to start this conversation off like this. I grew up in hard rock. I've always listened to metal, and I kind of moved into alternative and some of the 80s goth scene, but hard rock's always kind of been my thing. I never listened to country. When I was listening to this song, you know, doing research for this and kind of tuning in like, oh man, I've got to get him on. My wife was sitting there with me. She's like, who's doing that? That's really good. The thing about my wife, she grew up and still does listen to country. So yeah, it was a nice little, finally something we can both listen to and enjoy. So you guys did an amazing job with that track. And I want to get a little first and foremost background on why that song and what it was like putting it all together.
That song was actually I actually have to give credit on that song to our producers. They were the ones that said we think you guys should do this song. And after I'll be honest, I've not been like a huge country fan myself, but I listen to songs and I listen to the lyrics, because I mean, being a vocalist and writing music and stuff and our original stuff, I always try to do lyrics that people are going to connect with. So when I really sat back and listened to that song, I actually heard how powerful the lyrics were in it. And, we, all us guys got together and just really tried to surround the sound of that song to really pump the emotion that's in those lyrics. So that's kind of how everything came together there with that is it's just, we wanted to take all that emotion in the lyrics and just really just speak it through the music and the voice.
I think you guys did a phenomenal job, both with putting together your version of the track, but also with capturing that power. The thing about the original track is there's kind of like a cinematic, of course it's a country track, but there's a cinematic, there's this powerful feeling behind it that like moves you. And there was no loss of that. If anything, I'm going to be bold and say that, I mean, I can say factually, I like this better than the original. No offense to Garth Brooks, but to me, it resonates almost more than the original did. So I think you guys definitely took it and made it your own. And I love that. It's just fantastic. And of course, this isn't your first foray into covers. I found a couple of other covers you guys have worked on. I saw the Stained one.
Yeah.
And so is that just something to keep the gears grinding? Because I know you guys put out an album in 2020. Is that just something to keep the ball rolling and keep yourselves creative and working, or?
Absolutely. What we like to do with a lot of stuff, like the Stained one in particular, obviously we're a bunch of rockers, and Stain is such a influential rock band. Like everybody through pretty much any genre is going to know a Stain song. But like with that one, it was almost like we like to pay tribute to the people that have inspired us. So when we hear something that we're like, this would be cool to kind of revamp and almost, like that song is so, dated studio wise. It still sounds great, but like everything sound wise has come, so far. And our whole goal with doing stuff like that is to take songs that we love and almost put them out there for the next generation to fall in love with. So, it's like there's a bunch of people that can appreciate it in our generation, but there's also this younger generation that, that I found on TikTok of all places that are just wanting music. And, when you can take a song and rework it a little bit to where it's appealing to everyone, then, you've got something good going. So we've had a lot of people call us a cover band just because we've put out, quite a few covers and stuff, but I feel like our originals kind of speak for themselves. So
yeah, Seeing Red, another track worth digging into off of their album coming out last year, is an original, and there's a lot of power. And there's very much, I do want to point out, the cover band thing, it comes across as an insult. You guys, if we're going to use that label, which I'm not, because you guys do have some excellent originals as well, it's not fair to say, hey, cover band, because you guys are making it your own and providing that power behind it. And bravo to the producers, because when the thunder rolls, there was something that sounded like there were millions and millions of dollars behind it. And I'm sure there weren't, probably, I mean, in the equipment and everything, but it just came out so well polished. So what's the process like once you guys get that track and like, all right, we're going to do it? What's that process like?
It's, once we have a idea of what direction we're going to take the particular song, then it's getting into the studio and letting our producers work their magic with it. We're lucky enough to have Grammy nominated producers. Our producers, I'm sure you guys have played, I Prevail and stuff like that on your station. We have the same producers. And we're lucky enough to work with them to where they can take our idea and really give it that final touch to just make it sound full and amazing. And again, we're super happy that we have a chance to actually work with someone of that caliber. So
yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. And there was also another thing worth bringing up, of course, when the Thunder rolls, there's also a video with it. And I want to talk about that a little bit. First and foremost, the fact that you're making a music video that still has a story and nobody does that anymore. Yeah. Like I grew up watching pop-up video and VH1 Classic and there are always stories behind the videos and nobody does that anymore. And I love that. So what was the decision process behind getting that video together?
As far as I can tell you right now that video absolutely sucked to shoot. From our standpoint, we're a Michigan based band. So we shot this video in October and, we're getting rain dumped on us. That's water being pumped out of a pond that it was just everything involved. It was so cold. I was trying to heat up in between every single scene we were shooting in a 5x8 cargo trailer with a space heater in it, soaking wet.
I didn't think about, so that was another takeaway from that conversation I had with my wife. Rain, I mean, we live in Southwest Virginia, so it never gets as bad as like Michigan, but
yeah,
rain has always been my favorite weather.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is. So I was like, man, that looks like he's having so much fun. Yeah. Like I was like a pig in mud, thrilled. And I was like, man, I'm jealous. So that it's kind of a bummer that you weren't enjoying it as much, but it makes sense that you wouldn't be enjoying it as much. The product of it is just incredibly impactful. And I think the story, like the fact that you have that relationship kind of falling apart story going on in the background with the band performing, it feels extremely epic.
Yeah.
Like I've always been like, life should have background music. We should all have a soundtrack. I mean, and that's exactly what you've got there is that little almost miniature movie.
Yeah. And that's a great thing too, is the comments that we've gotten on it is a lot of people have that video has helped them even more connect with that song because it is, it happens to a majority of people, exactly what you watched. That is real life right there. And, it's nice to be able to have something that is going to connect with your audience. So I just like stuff that's relatable and how that video came together when it was all said and done. We couldn't be more happy with it. It completely told the story and, we're just, again, 100% satisfied with the way it came out. It's probably the best video we put out. So,
I mean, and it's obvious people are getting behind it. Of course, this week, number one on the Billboard Hot Hard Rock Songs. And then also, I don't know if you're aware of this. I just found this out like 5 minutes before we started talking is Garth Brooks and Pat Alger, the writers of The Thunder Rolls, now also at number one on the hard rock songwriting charts, all the way in 2021, 31 years after the track comes out. They're topping the
rock charts for the song they wrote. It's awesome. Yeah, we did see that, and we were like, that's crazy. Like we helped these iconic writers get back to the charts 30 years later or whatever. So
I'm going to ask something, and you don't have to answer this. I'm just curious because I know if I were a musician and I put out a song 31 years ago, and all of a sudden I get a call. Hey, you're charting on an entirely different genre. I would want to call the guys up and thank them. Have you heard anything from Garth Brooks or Pat Aldrey?
Nothing. I've been waiting for some sort of reaction video or something from them, like or just some sort of, contact with them, which would be awesome, but I mean, it's not something I would ever expect, from someone up at that level. We're just a small Michigan band that happened to put out a cover of one of his tunes. So
no, it's fantastic stuff. And I'm really excited to see what's next. I actually want to talk about that too. Kind of you're at a point where the Thunder Rolls is hitting impact. And I know most musicians I interact with are it's a never stop mentality. So I'm certain you guys are probably planning ahead. What's next?
Oh yeah. Actually the very next thing that's dropping, and I've just kind of put some teasers out there about it and everything, is a lot of people were wanting the extended version, like the Garth calls it the long version. He only did it live. I don't think they ever did a actual like studio recording of him doing it. Because I don't think the studio would let him do it. So we actually already have that done. And we're just, planning our release for that, but also I believe we're shooting for the end of March. We're going to have a brand new original dropping. So trying to stay, keep stuff fresh for everyone and give them new stuff to listen to is kind of the main goal. So,
well, we'll be listening. We'll be on the lookout. We're all excited. Of course, I've been talking with Jay of State of Mind. Good Lord. I keep doing that. I'll add letters that aren't there. State of Mind. Let's get this right. And, give them some love on social media. Of course, Thunder Rolls, Spotify. I recommend you go over to YouTube or their Facebook page and check it out because you got to have that video. It's just phenomenal stuff. Jay, thank you so very much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.